Hi, welcome back to Duct Tape's Place. Check it out what we got now. Some junk. That thing. It's a Taylor Dunn 3-wheel cart. We ain't doing nothing with this cart. I'm gonna cut all this off to have the axle. I cut the brake lines, but this thing's all rusted out. Big rust holes down there. And the shocks are rusted out on it. I see them down there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm cutting the axle out of it. I want the axle. Let me show you what else. And I got all the all the electrical components right here. All the transistors and resistors and whatever, and the solenoids and all that good stuff. And the motor is down there. I got the throttle too. So we're gonna have the axle and all them components to build something. So probably put it on a riding mower, the axle and all that for my kid. And we just gotta find the right rider. So I'm gonna cut this stuff off. We're gonna store it away. And right now the rear axle feels to be locked up, but I think it's because the brake cables, if you look, see how the springs on there, tension on them, you can tell that they're pulled, the brakes are pulled all the way. So this thing's been like set with the park brake on, and it's when you sit with the park brake on there, the cables will freeze. Let's see if we can. They're a pain to cut, so let's see if we can cut through it pretty good. Yeah, that was easy enough right there. Let's see if we can cut this one down here. Little Charlie, he's scared. So I still don't want to turn, but I seen the cable. It spun, or didn't spin. It loosened up, went back to like in the resting place. So let's tap it with the hammer. We'll see if it's locked up or not. It shouldn't be. She's pretty solid. There she goes, see? Yep, she ain't locked up. That one spins. Yep, both of them spin. So it was the brake cables that were froze. A lot of people don't realize that, like on golf carts too. Wonder why your golf cart's slow. Check your brake cables, they're probably seized up. So we're just gonna take the saws, all cut here, here, here. I'm gonna cut that shock free, and then I'm gonna put a sign out there, tell the scrappers to come on and get this thing. We'll put a little sign on the telephone pole out there, say free yellow cart, trash, scrap. So I'm gonna cut that off there. Alright, well, as you can see, that sawzall ain't cutting real good. So there's some bolts, but nuts holding the axles on. I can just build a new subframe. I was kind of wanting that because of the springs and all that, but it don't look like we're gonna get them. So let's see how we can get to them. Bring out the impact. We'll see what happens. Alright, we got the impact on her. I don't know how we're gonna, I guess maybe our wrench won't go that way. I don't know how we're gonna get on them. Oh, I think them are 19s. I don't know. You can hear the air compressor in the other shop. Of course I come out to this one. Look at all the junk in it. Ow, that hurt. Let's see. Now let's go to the other toolbox. I'll go over there where the loud compressors at, of course. Oh, it stopped. We'll get that thing put back together. 18, 20, there's 19. And we'll see what happens. I need to mow my grass, I know that much. So I wonder if I just done both them. That's at 19. Let's see what happens if that's a 19, hopefully. Let's see if this comes loose. Go grab that 21. Here we go, loud noises. Ooh. That didn't work. And of course. Alright, I got a 19, I hammered it on there. This is a standard cart from America. I think it's made in USA. And so I think the bolts are probably standard. See old Rusty Crusty. That's what having a good impact, air impact. I don't have real good air, I have a good impact though. It's coming out. I can't believe that one. I didn't think it would come out. I'm gonna go get a punch and we're gonna drive that out the rest of the way. Well, I don't have a punch, we're just gonna use another bolt. Here she went. We gotta put this cart. Try and gets to the other side. Or flip it all the way over to this way, the other way. Alright, I got the bolts out of it. Let's kick it. Kick it and see. I don't know about kicking it. Let's give her a push. Ooh, she's in there. Let's get us a bar, maybe wedge in there because of the springs, but I got the springs cut loose. Find a pry bar. I used to have them. I ain't got really that many anymore. Always lost them. Hopefully I got one. You know what? I think it's over in the garage. The other garage. Yeah. It's over in the other garage, so we just gotta find it. Wonder if they got like a garage maid service, because I need it. You know what, I bet you that thing's probably up here. Or maybe not. I know I used it not too long ago. Just had it. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? You guys see it anywhere? Well, I'm gonna keep looking for it. You guys, hang on there. Well, I found a chisel, a little, act like a bar maybe. Ooh. A little bit. I think this is gonna, yeah, the springs are bending in like that. So soon we need to try to pound them out. And it's still gonna put pressure on them springs. Let me get the hammer again. Hammer. She's going. She's going. There we go. That part's out. We just gotta try to figure a way to pry that out of there now. Huh. Yeah, we got that spring all caught up down there now. Man. Alright. We're gonna fight with it for a minute. We'll get her loose. Yeah, we got her undone. Got one little boo-boo, that's it. It's not bad, but she's out, that's all I wanted. So we'll set it up. Let these scrappers get it. So we'll update you on this when we get something to put it in. Alright y'all, here we go. we got just set up. I just went and picked this riding lawnmower up, got the hood. Basically stuff I just needed, and you see the front end's been repaired. They've welded it, but I paid 40 bucks for this. Not bad little tractor, but hood, headlights. This is, we'll have to figure this out. This is like the brake pedal. We'll figure that out. We'll put the gas pedal over on this side, obviously. And then we'll just cut a little hole in the floor, and the pedal comes up, and the box bolts to the bottom of that. But we'll cut this off flush with the mounts here. I mean, it bolts right up, basically. I just got to drill 2 holes, bolt them, and then I'll build something here to help strengthen it up and keep it from twisting going side to side. So that's where we're at. I got to drill some holes there and there, figure that part out. Probably end up doing maybe like some handbrakes or something on this thing. I don't know. It's crazy how I gotta figure it out one way or another. She got to have brakes. So I could always move this plate, you know, but I got them big bolts right there. But once we just picture this with this stuff lobbed off, I was actually like thinking I'd bolt this in here, cut this out, cut all this out, and then have these run up in here, or a plate across here, something, and give her some suspension. But I don't know, them are awful stiff. I don't know how much suspension it'd give her anyways. So that's what we're gonna do. These bushings are kind of bad anyways. I don't, you know, it's might as well just do what I gotta do. But I could I'm just worried about the height. See, I don't have any tires yet to put on it to see if it's how it's gonna fit. You figure I just have to get shorter tires instead of taller tires. Once I get that done, and I'll decide on how tall I want the tires. You know, if I get 12 inches, 12 inch tall, be 6 inches this way, 6 inches this way. Or, you know, if I go with, like, I would say 20, be 10 inches up here, 10 inches down here. And we'll figure that out when we get there. I want to ride level. And if need be, I can always drill these out, move these up, and I'll probably just like build a plate, and I can just move that up and down as I need to. I could actually slot that and make it where this slides up and down or something. I'm gonna do a little more work on this thing. I want to kind of get a little more permanent mounted right here. I don't have the welder hooked up yet. Don't have the grinder out. None of that stuff. So this is a little update on what we're doing, how far along we're getting on her. And you know, this isn't you're not gonna learn nothing from this. I mean, unless you want to try to do something like this. But as far as trying to do anything factory back to it, you're not gonna learn nothing from this. This is just backwoods fabricating at its best. And yeah, I'm outside, so we're gonna roll with this one. Alright, it's a new day. Here's the plan as of right now. We had this mounted up. We got some golf cart tires. I want to see if they fit. Well, the back spacing is hitting that frame right there. So we're going to have to take that off. And we're going to have to figure it. I'll probably maybe just zip it off. Cut it off so the tire will fit in there and see what happens. But I just want to make sure these will fit on there, and then we'll get our axle spacing the way we want, and then we can install the electric motor and all the electronics for it. So I'm gonna pull the motor off, and we're gonna, or not the motor, but come here. Hang on, dog's running after people. Alright, the dog was running after a lady who was walking her dogs. He wasn't like chasing her to hurt her. She wanted to play with the puppies. Alright, well get out the way. Get out the way. So, well, back to what I was saying, we'll chop this. I think I want to take the axle, move it back farther, give it a longer wheelbase anyways. So, if you look now, we'll just kind of set the tire in there just to kind of give it a look. It's going to be about there if I was to make it fit there. I think if we get this axle out the way real quick. Let's just drop it down. Drag that rear axle up out of there. Narrowed 9-inch, forward 9-inch. Actually, it's a spicer. So here we go. So if I move it back to about here, which is going to be centered with this plate, and if I use a plate like that and center it with these mount bolt holes here, I'll put our tire about there. And it should set this down to where this thing rides a little even. I'll get different tires, but we'll make sure the rims will fit. So we'll set it back a little bit. It'll be about right there. And it don't stick out past the rear fenders much. They'll sit in about that far. So I think that's a better option than it sitting like that. They'll give a few more inches to help with the possibility of a rollover. Hopefully there ain't one, but with my kid, you never know. So it'll be about right here. I like that anyways. So we're going to end up, I got to have that for the emergency brake. So I'll have to end up welding a bracket on here or something or not the emergency brake, it's actually brake cables. But we'll have to weld something on there to get that figured out too. So let me get this one side off here somehow. If you remember when we was trying to, it's a spicer. If you remember how close them are, we can't really get in there to get them. I don't know how I'm going to get them. Maybe I'll put a screwdriver in there and I'll pinch it, something. So let me get my impact out, and we'll get at least one side off. Alright, so I'm going to try to stick my screwdriver in here. Let's see, make sure I'm on reverse. It worked. Let's see about this side. Gotta make sure we can get this off too. We gotta get that cable off there the rest of the way. Come off there. This little round clip, she should slide right through this thing. Yeah, maybe not. Huh, I bet you that thing slid that way. Let's do it that way then. Don't fight me. keep these bolts, nuts and bolts. So that one still wants to stay stuck in there. There we go. And she's off there. Screwdriver pinching that nut in there helps to get them off there. Let's see, wrong one. Yep, right bolt pattern. Check it out, right bolt pattern. I only have two nuts, so. And on these golf cart tires, they're kind of dimpled in the back, right here. So you don't really need to crank down on them. It applies spring pressure to the lug nuts. So once you get it pretty snug, is good enough. You don't need to crank them down. You gotta realize you ain't going super fast now. My cart runs 30 miles an hour, so, but it's also different wheels. And that should be it. So we got them on that one. I'm gonna flip it over and do the other side. It worked. It works. Works perfect. It looks like I put the bolts in the front of that. They fit. I can just go ahead and run a washer and a bolt or nut and tighten that. Then I could just run me a tack weld right across here. Not a tack weld, but a regular weld. Put one here, one here. Do it right there, right there. And then I could take the tires off and then fully weld it right to it. And we'll call that good. She barely clears right there. We may have to, I'm gonna have to get the motor and see about this piece. Now there's a plate that goes back here and bolts on. Whether it hits this or not, I don't know. We may end up having to cut that out. But I wanna, or I may just build a different plate for it. But I'll put that on, get that on there before I do all that. That'll strengthen up the metal from and not let this thing really go side to side. So yeah, that's the way it looks like that's gonna go. And she's pretty level. This may be just how she gets ran, just like this. No, won't need no bigger tires, anything. Everything seems to be working out pretty good. We'll just have to figure out brakes somehow, and yeah, I think that'd be about it. And I got enough room. I can put probably 3 batteries, maybe put 2 this way, 1 this way, and then build a shelf and put the other ones on top. But if I want to run just 4 and make it 24 volt, then you know, then that's an option. So we'll have to fix the front when I get my welder all put together. So the rear axle's in. I want to see how the motor's going to fit on here next. See if we have to section anything. I won't cut. I'll just do like a circle if I need to, and then the motor can slide in and out of that thing. I need to get this axle bolted with them 1 bolts that I got in there right for now, so I can lift this thing up and down. Alright, so this is where we're at. The motor's too wide, it won't fit in there. And as you can see, it's going to be a lot taken out of this frame. We'll reinforce it with some angle iron, not a big deal, or whatever we need to. I'm going to get this back plate put on there, but I've got to cut yay much off of it. and then I will space it out to fit around there and re-weld it once I get my actual whatever I gotta have. I still have all that extra over there, and so I wonder if I move that in, move them into here, what that'll do to this back plate and my spacing for tire placement. Tire placement's back quite a ways. I wonder if I move it up that, move the back bolt to there, just move forward that much. I'm gonna try that. We're gonna see. Alright, we got the plate on here in the back. Got the axle in here kind of lined up. This side here is a little off. This way, yeah, they're about the same, but I may try to push this up a little bit farther. I'll have to find a spot somewhere that's I can measure, you know, to the front of the pads or something to see where my wheelbase is at, to make sure it's somewhat square. But I think I think that's pretty dang close. I don't think I can get much closer, honestly. I could tap it that way, maybe just a little bit. Maybe tap this one back. But she's in there. But I still have to, I'm going to pull this cover off so we have better access to everything down here underneath, so we can figure out where we got to cut the frame. So yeah, we're moving along on it. It's a little hot today. I don't think I have the bolts for the motor to bolt back on, though. I'll have to look in the box. So as far as back spacing on the wheels, I am gonna have to get some shims, kind of shim the tire out with, you know, like wheel spacers. Space them out just a little bit. When I was back here looking, it was awful narrow. The tires need to be out just a little more. The front tires actually stick out farther than the rear tires, and giving it a little wider stance, give a little better stability. So I still got to find a seat for it, of course. And then it's got, you know, I'll have to probably move it forward. I'll have to get her to sit on it so I can know where to put the gas pedal and all that good stuff still. So there's a couple, like 4 bolts on each side that I got to take off. So let me get into that. There's 2 here, 2 on the other side, and this should come off. It has some bolts up here, but I done took them. They were already loose, so I already took them out. I have to move this block of wood. So that's where we're going for now. Alright, so looking at this, I think we'll be doing something a little different. We're going to cut the rear end of this frame off. Just chop it off, get rid of it. I'm going to get have the guys at work cut me out the circle I need on a piece of metal, and once we'll install this motor, we'll get the motor installed, and once we get the motor installed, and I'll have the whole plate, you know, it'll be a little big, so I have plenty to go to manipulate, get it around the motor, and then we will cut it to where we need it, and we will do it that way. That's how we'll go that way with how we'll mount this. I'm gonna leave this lip because if you see, this here is lower. I'm gonna try to get a board or something across here and get a measurement how far down I need to go, and if you see, it's got a little bit here that goes down, and this actually sinks in some. So I've got, you know, that much plus whatever's above this. But if I could just give myself, you know, that much, and then that plate will run all the way up here, and I will weld it in. So, or, you know, I may just keep this plate and have them cut that circle out of there. The only thing is I just have to know my placement, and that's the only thing that's going to be hard about where my circle is going to be. So I figured if I had some extra, then I guess I might still be able to cut that if I just go ahead and whack that out, do that, and then I could just tack weld a backer in here and weld that if it's a big gap in there. So, you know, I could probably just cut a U-shape right up out of it, and then I can just weld it back in. I don't know. I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to cut this off, and we'll try to get this centered up, get us a mark on this piece of metal, because I still need my bolt holes and all that. Yeah. Well, let me get this stuff taken off, and we're going to cut that. But as of for right now, this is probably going to be the end of this video, and I'll bring you back when we get this. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and whack this off, get the motor in place, and then that's where I'll end this video. And then we'll get into replacing this part of the frame, and then we'll start on all the wiring. Next video will basically be all about wiring, and then the and, you know, fabricating up for the throttle and the brake. So let me get this cut. We'll get this motor mounted, and we'll leave off right there. And then I could put the rear seat cover back over the top of it to keep the motor from getting wet. Not that it really matters. It looks sealed to me, but probably should put a little RTV around here so no water gets into that. But all right, well, let me get this cut off, and we'll get you guys back. Well, here we go. Definitely not what I anticipated. And it's awful long. The motor is wide. We're back to rubbing issues. So, I'm gonna have to get a wheel spacing. I need it to be right about there. And we're gonna have to stick these out quite a ways, or find something with some different back spacing. But we're looking probably 3 to 4 inches. I get 4 2-inch spacers and slap on there. I think that might do it. And then where is that one? Where'd that one piece go? I just want to see how well it'll fit back out into there. See if she will. Yeah, so we'll have to just shave some of that up off of here. I mean, I can measure. I can pretty much measure from. But I have to cut some of that off there. We will have to make us a full sheet underneath that thing. So because I mean she's not tied into nothing. Ugh. But we'll get her figured out on the next video. And that's probably where I'm gonna sign off on this one. It's getting warm out, so hopefully on the next one we'll permanently get the motor mounted. I got to get some more bolts for the motor, get this frame figured out and welded up, and we got to weld up the front up here. I showed it a little earlier in the video when I first got this thing. So welcome welds here and here, so we get that rear end done and all that. We'll get this lifted up and we'll get this all reinforced and get a little bit more, so you can see there's some play in there. And there's a toe. I'll get a couple tie rod ends and maybe some, you know, decent size. I'll probably just use that bar there, and I'll thread the ends of it to thread into the, whatever you want to call it, the tie rod ends, heim joints, whatever. If it's going to be the same size, if not, I'll have to get some type of rod that will be the right size, and we'll tap it out, not tap, but cut it out, make threads, whatever. I think tapping's when you drill, and dyeing's when you're cutting the rod itself. So we're going to leave this one. Hope we have it done in a few days.